Meghan March sucks ass. Hi guys. Hello there and welcome to Not My Cup of Tea, the podcast where we find and review the wildest romance novels out there so you don't have to.
The podcast where we fucking hate on Meghan March.
Yeah, we are officially changing the name to Meghan March Sucks Ass. Ass with $2 signs. I love how we've become bullies.
I know. Oh yeah, we are. I guess we already Dracula Stark as well.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we did.
But I cut that out. Yeah, no, we just had some pasta. It was good.
I was smashing it.
We have also just binge watched the entirety of Squid Game.
Which was also great.
It was just so good, and we were just sitting there like, I can't do anything else.
No, it had to be finished before we could start
It really did.
anything else.
And then we were just like, oh fuck, we need to record an episode today. Shit.
Also, right, so as you might have been able to guess, this is the second part of Flashback.
Yeah, this is part 2.
Yeah, so that's a major reason why we kind of like put this off a bit. But buckle in, boys.
This one's somehow worse.
It's somehow even worse. Okay. Oh yeah, content warnings. Hi. Like, content warning, rage.
Content warning, rage.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not. That's why I loved that joke. As always, we are going to yuck this yum.
We are going to yuck this yum. Like,
Don't tweet at me, don't Instagram me, don't do nothing to tell me how good this book is, because I'll just tell you to fuck off.
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like we need no introduction for how bad this is.
Yeah.
Let's just get into it.
Let's just dive in.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go listen to last week's episode.
Exactly. Where did we leave off last week? Do you want to just catch us up real quick?
Yeah, of course. So last week we left off with Rowan seducing the boys after she heard that, yeah, you know, you're not actually allowed to leave right now because we don't have the people and blah, blah, blah. But it turned out but it turned out she had ulterior motives because she snuck away in the night.
Doom, doom, doom.
I know.
So we left it at this cliffhanger,
Yeah.
and then we're picking it back up. With
I
Ro.
wish we weren't.
I know, I wish we weren't. With Ro having escaped.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was thinking like, it was surprisingly easy. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But she's also a bit shook up, like, oh my god, I'm so wild, like, I can't believe, you know, the threesome and that, and, but I also really like guys, shit, like, oh, shut the fuck up, mate. Yeah, but she's like, oh, also she might go back sometime in the future if she can, check if they've, if they've maybe forgiven her, because, like, she did like the dick. And then, so, yeah, just kind of thinking about that while she's trekking through the woods, and then she sees somebody, and everything goes black. Well, at first she thinks it's Graham, but, well, we don't know.
It's fucking not.
It's fucking
Spoiler.
not, because we swap to Grace's perspective, who's cozy in bed in the morning, but where's Ro? Dum dum dum. Yeah, she's gone. No shit. And so his bedside gun, a bunch of like rations and supplies. So it's like pretty obvious. Okay, oh fuck's sake, okay. I'm already literally like 5 minutes in, and I'm already so fucking angry. So I got a direct quote here. She left him because that's what women do. They fucking leave. Just like.
Okay.
And okay, John.
Okay, buddy.
Okay, buddy. And it's like, oh yeah, he feels like when his mom left him in this motel all over again. And it's like, you know what, like, get over yourself. Like,
He has severe mummy issues.
He has severe mommy issues. Like,
And daddy issues.
Yeah.
He doesn't know his dad.
no, yeah, exactly. Like, he's not coping. Like, he should get some therapy. Like, yeah.
But instead he went, do you know what I'll do? I'll just get a gun and shoot people.
Exactly. I just go kill people.
I guess I'll just go kill people because there's nothing else for me to do.
Yeah, so he kind of like checks everywhere, and he asks Alison as well, and goes, because like, what's going on? Goes back to the room, and like Zach's already getting ready, like they need to find her. and he was like, oh yeah, when they find her, he's gonna beat her ass until she can't sit for a week, which is assault and a grievous bodily harm, my guy. But go off, I guess.
Yeah, because he's meaning it in he's meaning it in like a sexy dom way, where he's like, oh, but also I'm like gonna punish her, but like no, not really.
Yeah, also not really.
Like she literally ran away from you.
Exactly.
Why do you think that would be like an acceptable response?
Exactly. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
because like, it could be all nice, like with like a dumb thing, but like with her consent is the keyword in to make it like a nice
that's it. Like, this
thing,
isn't a game they're playing, this is her genuinely trying to escape from a kidnapping situation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and he goes, oh, like, who was on watch, how did you meet her, like, how did you like miss her? And the boys who were on, like, they couldn't see anything. Right, so he just assumed...
She was stealth.
She was stealth. Stealth 100.
With one F.
Stealth. It's like Stonks guy.
Yeah. Stealth.
Oh god, yeah. So they off to the armory to like, get Kid, like, Zach follows. And yeah, also they point out that like the last redneck is still out there as well. Ooh, like the one they didn't kill. And Jamie, so like the guy who was on watch, he joins as well because he's a very good tracker. Like, so apparently a bull hole was unlocked, so that's how she left. And I have no fucking clue what it is. Like, it's some military shit. Sorry, guys.
I thought it's just something to do with the gate or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's clearly a hole somewhere, like, that was unlocked and, like, she went to get out of it. But, like, once again, like, if any, like, military people who are not offended enough yet to stop listening can explain, that would be much appreciated.
Oh, if you're not offended yet... Oh, just wait.
Yeah, just wait.
Like, I'm intending to offend you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I haven't offended you yet. I'll get to you later.
I'm making my way down the list.
Yeah. Sorry, honey. Wait your time. That was sarcasm.
What was it?
What was it? Anyway, moving on.
Anyway. So they skedaddle off, and Graham, like, feels pathetic because he's going after a woman, and, like... We're just like, okay, cool. And he blames himself, as it wouldn't have happened if they had helped up their side of the deal of escorting her home. Which, yeah! Tough shit, my guy.
And also, like what's changed?
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Because their deal was they were going to escort her home, right?
Yeah.
She would have left either way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why is he pissy about it?
No. He's pissy. Like he's scared about her because because he knows there's extra other people out there. Like he's worried about her safety like a lot.
Okay.
And it's like yeah, like if you would have just like held up your fucking promise, then like she would be safe at least. But
I brought up this point as well in between recordings. So I'm glad you brought it up because I just remembered it. Right. We literally just wrapped up and I had like a bit of an epiphany moment. So he says like, oh yeah, like you stay and heal and then I'll get the men to take you to wherever, right?
Yeah.
Why couldn't she have just healed wherever they were going to bring her?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because
they have a truck. Like they, she didn't have to walk.
She could have gone whenever. Like they could have gone.
A truck.
You're like, okay, fair enough. Right, we'll go with you, assess the situation to make sure like you're going to be safe.
Exactly.
And we'll drop you off there.
Yeah, exactly. And like give you like a little care package or something. Because it's not like she had like some like really complicated injury. She had a fucking sprained ankle. Like she doesn't need a doctor there.
Literally, all she did was kick about while she was there, like just doing absolutely fuck and all. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, yeah, she would have been absolutely fine at her parents' house.
Yeah, exactly.
But apparently no.
Apparently not. Also, like, now comes the, consequences of their own actions. Because, like, Jamie, so, like, the other guy, sees boot prints trailing Rose tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, large male boot prints. And, like, not only one pair. Mm-hmm. Which is obviously super scary. And now Graham's all, like, worried about her. It's like, yeah.
This plot point really annoyed me, and I don't know whether we should get into it right now or leave it for when we're done it later on.
I feel like we're gonna go on a massive rant later on, but hold that thought because it's important, Liz.
I feel like we're on the same wavelength.
Yes, we are on the same wavelength, absolutely. I just kind of want to get through it so we can
be done.
Yeah, so we can just be angry and then like
and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hint for those with good headphones. Yeah, so they're also worrying, like, why there's more than one set of prints if they had killed the other rednecks. But clearly there's more. And yeah, because, like, they had tried to, like, ask Leah, like, the other woman, but she didn't have any answers. Like, she kind of, like, blocked everything out, like, since after they first grabbed her, which is understandable because this woman is severely traumatized. And so we're back to Ro, and she's like, shit. So she's kind of, waking up after she got knocked out. She pretends to still be unconscious and sees the rednecks, just doing, like, some work and, like, snacking and shit. And she's like, oh no, no.
I fucked up.
So Ronnie, one of the rednecks, notices that she's up, and, like, he's pissed off at her because she's, like, the one who sent, like, the military guys after them, and they killed, like, his dad, brother, uncle, whatever, but, like, what a shame, And yeah, he's, like, about to rape her, so Rose, like, about to, like, if she's negotiating, obviously, like, what's she gonna do?
She's like, please don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it's good though, right? Because she's like a fairly smart cookie, so she kind of explains like, oh, what if I could tell you like there's a place nearby with lots of supplies and food and whatever, everything you need. She's thinking of her family's farm, right? But obviously they won't help you if you hurt me, you know. So like, baby, don't. And yeah, because like the ranch guys will be after her definitely, because like she paints it like she was like the prisoner and she escaped, which isn't completely wrong, Yeah, which isn't completely wrong. So yeah, the guys are like, okay, yeah, I guess, and ask her to lead the way, and she's kind of really hoping that her dad will read her mind and just shoot them. Yeah.
He'll suss out the vibe.
He suss out the vibe. That's sus.
So so it kind of cuts back to Graham and Zach and all the rest of the lads, and they are really sure now that Ro has been captured because there's like tracks of her being kind of dragged away.
Yeah.
So they start to follow after her trail. So that just is a bit of like a housekeeping, kind of keep that thought in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
And we go back to Ro, who is now being led like a dog at a very fast pace. So they've like bound her hands and they're just kind of like dragging her along. And she reckons they're only about 15 miles away from her family home. And despite the circumstances, she is actually really excited to be heading in that direction. Obviously, she wants to see her dad, she wants to see her sister. And she's like kind of glad that she is at least going home, if that makes sense, but obviously she's like, this is still shit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, but I mean, this is like the best outcome for her, hopefully her dad can help her.
In this exact situation, this is the best outcome that she could have asked for.
Absolutely.
But because they're moving so quickly, she gets really exhausted and she can't keep going. So she negotiates that they stop for a few hours, and luckily, they are too tired to fuck her. So they promise to rain check that thought when they're at her dad's house. Quote, she will be the meat in the sandwich. So, another menage proposition, but somehow even worse. Yep.
God, this is gross.
So Ro is released to use the bathroom, but is then hogtied for sleeping, which if you don't understand what hogtied is, it's essentially like... Why are you laughing?
I just laugh because it's also like a...
Is it the context at which I know what hogtied is?
Yes,
is that why you're laughing?
Yes, that's why I'm laughing.
Good to know. So it's essentially like you have your hands bound behind your back, which are then tied to your feet, so you kind of make like a U shape.
Yeah.
And your back's all bent. So obviously, is she fuck sleeping that night?
it ain't comf.
Yeah, it ain't comf at all. So thankfully, she's just so exhausted that she just kind of passes out after a couple of seconds. But she's trying to think about like all the positives of the situation, where she's like, well, I've not been raped yet. We're on my way to my dad's.
Yeah. Meh. Could be worse.
And I'm like, baby girl.
Not great, not terrible. Like
this isn't very stocks.
Like the Chernobyl.
So yeah.
Oh my god.
After a few hours, the rednecks release her and they set off once again. So Rose starts to recognise where she is and wonders if the boys are coming after her. She kind of prays that they've, even though they said they couldn't spare the men, they're just going to do it anyway, which I'm just like, okay.
I was like, I mean, because like
in this situation, fair enough. Like, it'd be
Oh,
good
yeah.
if they were coming.
Oh,
but,
absolutely, yeah.
I'm not gonna get into it right now. I'll save the rant for later. Anyway, so the rednecks are smarter than they look, and they do release her before they set off up the driveway.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it doesn't look like, she's been kind of
A prisoner.
a prisoner, which
Yeah.
she has. Yeah. And Ro notices a flash of what she thinks is like a sniper thing.
Oh,
What's the word? Like the look-see bit.
Yeah. Fuck. Scope.
Scope. The scope of a sniper. The scope of a rifle. Thank you so much. So she notices that kind of like what she thinks is that, or what she prays is that, like hiding in the wheat stalks. So obviously she thinks, oh fuck, like I really hope that's Graham and Zach. And they reach the front door and they're met by Rowan's father, Rick, who has a shotgun ready. And he immediately senses something is off and he's like, oh, okay darling, why don't you go to the car and get me my cap? Because he obviously wants to create some distance between Rowan and these men, but they're not falling for it and they will not let her go.
Yeah.
So it goes tits up pretty quickly. Everyone just starts shooting.
Shooting and tooting.
Shooting and tooting. And Rowan is taken hostage before she can kind of run away in the chaos. But she managed to like elbow her way out of this redneck's grasp, and he is shot in the head from the wheat stalks. Yes, as you have guessed, Zach and Graham are there. So Zach embraces Rowan, but is kind of warned off by Rowan's sister, who appears at the door because she has a gun, and she's like, obviously has no concept of what's going on. She's just, these men have showed up and they've all started shooting and her sister's in danger, so she obviously assumes that these men are part of that group. And I've just wrote down a quote that Zach says that it pissed me off. So it's, I will tan your ass until you can't sit for a week.
Oh. Yeah, it's literally they say it like 3 times or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that's before that. And then there's another mention at some point as well that like I just didn't bother even like noting down because it's just like so...
It's just uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable.
So Rowan reassures her sister, like, no, it's okay, like, the bad guys are dead, don't worry. But they have other problems because Rick, her father, has been shot!
No!
Oh, fuck! And she tries to go to him, but Zach won't let her go as they go together now. Like, they go everywhere together. And it's like, okay. Like, I literally left you, but whatever.
Maybe come down a little bit. Like...
Yeah, literally. So, Graham kind of jumps in and starts being like, okay, boss time. And he uses some fancy army medical supplies on Rick's wound, which helps clot the blood, which is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's essentially so he won't bleed out, but obviously he needs medical attention, and they say they could help him back at the camp, but that they would have to make it on foot, and Rowan is like, yeah, he wouldn't survive.
That's not happening, yeah.
Yeah. So luckily Erica kind of says, oh, we've got a car ready, we were just waiting on Rowan to arrive and then we were all going to jet, so it's filled with supplies as well, like we can zoom.
We can just go, yeah.
And they all get in that and speed off, and Rowan starts to like thank the boys for coming after her, but now is not the time for that conversation.
Oh yeah, of course not. Like there's more pressing matters. Yeah, definitely. Like, her dad, like, bleeding out. Although Graham is, like, really impressed with Mr. Callahan's preparedness.
He's got a hard-on for...
He's got a hard-on for the military shit in the car. Honestly, like, I just wrote down a bunch of military shit because I didn't really understand half the words of what he was describing.
Like, he has things in it.
Yeah, exactly. I just kind of, like, zoomed. It's just, you know...
You're just like, okay.
I was just like, okay, cool.
Anyway. Cool story,
and, so Rick is in the back. Erica directs them. I think Graham's driving.
Yep.
And they're just trying to figure out like which way to go so they don't get blocked off, or like it's not that easy because there's like all those cars that are like fucked. So it's just like still sitting on the streets. Yeah, so Graham's still pissed off with Ro as well, and he's like still drawing parallels to his mom. Like, he seriously needs to get some help. It's like, okay, your mom was...
Cut that shit out.
You know, right? It's like, okay, your mom was a drug addict, and like, that's sad, but, get a fucking grip.
You're Fulgur, man, get a grip.
Well, eventually, he comes up with a good path to get back to the ranch, and they go back to the ranch. And Rose really relieved that, you know, she can get her dad to Bo. And this is so weird, right? So, like, Zach tells her and Erica, like, not to go in the clinic. So, like
I kind of understand, like, not literally being in the room while Bo's operating, because he needs some, like, space.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To be like,
absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely, because, like, that's what they say as well. But then, like, they go in the clinic, so it's like... Because, like, they're not helping, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're just, like, there as well. Like, it's bullshit. Because, like, his daughters, like, should be able to decide that, you know?
Exactly.
Because, like, if he fucking dies, like, maybe they want to be there, you know?
Yeah.
You know... And oh my god, right? And like this really pisses me off as well because so she like beats herself up again over not spending enough time with her family and all that.
I mean, that is kind of resolved later on. That kind of
Yeah.
arc.
Oh,
but yes.
Yes, exactly. But like it makes me even more pissed off like with the resolution, you know what I mean? Because it's just she shouldn't have to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, kind of like Erica's like asking about like what's going on with her and Zach.
Yeah, she's trying to distract herself.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to distract her a bit, and also Scrams, you know, available then, and she's like,
No.
and then she's like, "You're doing the both." Once again,
Fuck.
And before they can have like a proper talk about it, like Graham shows back up and he asks about, you know, they ask about her, their dad.
Yeah.
And he's lost blood, but he'll be fine most likely. Like they have universal donors there who just like donate blood, so they have like good supply.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously, you know, it came all out that, you know, the three of them were fucking.
Mm-hmm.
And Erica was like, I was just wondering why he looks so pissed if he's got a hot piece like you doing the menage thing, or is it because he missed the hole? And I was like,
yeah, Erica is incredibly inappropriate.
She's so mouthy and so funny.
And it is quite funny.
It's kind of funny.
Like, I completely understand that because, like, when I'm in a stressful situation, I become that person where I just make jokes about things that should not be made jokes about. And then I'm just like, I know I'm, like, lowering the tone, but, like, it needs to be lowered or I'll just cry, you know?
Understandable.
It's like our whole Ratatouille moment.
Oh, yes.
Right, no, we're not going to tell that story.
No,
we're just going to keep it in our brains. Because that sounds like we're going to get a call from a very angry vegan. We're like, we didn't do anything, okay? We just made a joke.
These are the great mouse detectives.
Oh, do you know the night where you caught 2 mice? I watched that before bed.
Oh,
so when I woke up, I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god. You
so
fucking conjured
funny.
them up.
Oh, no.
So funny. I didn't even know that.
Fuck.
Oh my god. Oh, okay, right, back to this train wreck. So Ro cuts Erica off. And yeah, like those big hugs, like, oh, like she's always been mouthy, and you know, there's been things in high school, like ever since high school as well. And it's like, oh, this is so much big sis and shit. Cool. And Erica's like, okay, can you tell me though, like, what's going on with you guys? And Graham goes into this full, like, weird speech. Roll credits that she came into the world like a flashbang.
Yeah.
And Rose just kind of like, she just fucking leaves. It's great.
She's like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah,
He just walks away.
I'm gonna go now. And yeah, we like Grab's perspective again, and he's like, oh, I fucked that up. Like, I professed my love for once, and I fucked it up. And Erica's there, like, are you in love with my sister?
Both of you?
And Grab's being bitchy. And then she kind of like hints that Ro might reciprocate that, but like she had to go see her family. And Grab's like, okay, that's kind of fair. Like, she did run off because, which is like, yeah, like maybe he did fuck up by holding her prisoner. Like, you know, like maybe he fucked it up. Maybe that situation could have been handled a bit better.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and he kind of sees her, but like, yeah, whatever.
No, it pisses me off their justification for why they don't think family is why they don't realise family is as important as Rose sees it. And it is simply because they come from incredibly abusive backgrounds, which I can understand, but like then he talks about how like he's found his family here, and it's like
exactly.
Can you not like look at things like from an outsider's opinion and go, okay, like how would I feel
exactly
if someone kidnapped me and didn't let me go back to the ranch?
Exactly. Even like I think like even regardless of all of that, even if you can't understand somebody's decisions, like yeah, I still have to, like, they should, like, respect her decision as
Yeah.
a grown woman, you know,
Yeah,
like, to do what
exactly.
she wants to do, like...
But they're just like, oh no, this little girl's gonna get hurt.
Yeah,
I'm just like, fuck you guys.
Fuck you guys.
Okay, so the next day, Rowan kind of tells her okay father an edited version of events, omitting all the sex and like the reason why and like the way she kind of left.
Yeah.
And yeah, the girls, as in Erica and Rowan, stay by his bedside all day until they are ushered off so he can go rest. So Graham is like, it cuts to Graham and he's like sitting with some like a bottle of scotch or something manly. And he's like wondering, where's Ro gonna sleep tonight? Because like, is she gonna sleep with her sister or with me? And it's like,
can you calm the fuck down?
obviously not with you.
Yeah.
Right? But then, you know, Rowan, not being a real woman, appears moments later. She proper like creeps inside the cabin, and like Graham doesn't like announce his presence, so like she gets like the shit scared out of her when he's like, "What you doing, real woman?" And she's like, "Fuck it." So obviously they get into an argument about how she could have been killed. She's like, "But I had to leave," and like, yeah, like it's the usual shit.
Yeah.
You know, and Rowan kind of tries to storm off, but he grabs her back and he throws her onto the bed very dramatically. And she's like, okay, but like, you're clearly mad at me and you don't want me, so like,
what's your problem then?
let me leave.
Exactly, yeah.
But he's like, you clearly don't understand what I want at all, if that's what you think. And then Ro's like, because you have shit communication skills. So explain to me what you want then. And it's like, it's just like, yes, Ro. Thank you for saying that. So Graham goes on this whole big rant about it's actually clear about what he wants, and he's like, you were supposed, this is a direct quote, you were supposed to pick me. And it was like,
he is not like the other girls.
choose me, love me. Said Grey's Anatomy
Suck
quote.
my dick.
It's not how the Grey's Anatomy quote goes.
I know. Fuck. Wait, what the great what goes?
Grey's Anatomy? That's
Oh,
what
Grey's
it's called.
Anatomy,
Where
yeah.
she's like, pick me, choose me,
Yeah.
love me. And I'm like, fuck Pick Dreamy, by the way.
I know, he's such a dick.
He's such a prick. Anyway, he gives off major Graham vibes.
He does. Or does Graham give off major McGrady vibes?
Fan theory. Oh, this is all just a Grey's Anatomy fan fiction that's been attempted. Oh no, we might have hit something. Oh no, we might have hit
You would have put
something.
something.
So who's the other one then?
What about Sloane?
Oh, interesting. Let's move on. So Graham starts to kind of go into a bit of an explanation about like maybe why he is so affected by the fact that she chose to leave, but he can't follow through with it because he's chicken shit, so he just like tries to GTFO. He's just like, I'm not doing this.
He's just Naruto runs.
Yeah,
out of
Naruto runs straight through a wall. But Zack appears before he can leave and blocks the door. So Ro gets to kind of explain her side of the story, where she's like, look, I've always put my family last. This had to be the first time where I put them first. But it was obviously a very hard decision for her to make because she does love them. So what she kind of explained it as, what she's like, I didn't choose to leave you, I chose to get them. Like,
yeah, exactly, which is perfectly valid, you know.
Things,
yeah.
you know. It's just like, but one had to happen for the other, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole choosing family thing proper triggers Graham, who goes on to this like big explanation about how his mother abandoned him in a motel and was found a week later having drowned. As we already kind of know, she was a drug addict. But she had only been dead for 24 hours, so she had like properly left him, presumably without any remorse or intentions of coming back for him. So when Rowan left, do you want to say?
No, I was gonna say, right, because I mean, obviously that is horrible, you know, right? But that also was like a clearly like heavily like addicted woman. You know,
That was
and
clearly
traumatized
a
woman,
very ill person.
Exactly.
His addiction is an illness.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
they were clearly a very ill person, and I mean, of course that sucks. You know what I mean?
It's horrible that happened to him, but it's like deciding to hate all women because of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Prickish,
yeah, exactly. It's a bit of an overreaction.
Yeah.
You know, like yeah. I'm not saying like he should definitely like forgive his mom or something, but like
no,
there's
no.
you know what I mean. But like, I think you should understand that it's not like out of like that she just like decided like, oh, actually fuck my kids, you know, like that's not how that's not how addiction works.
Yeah,
like,
I get you. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I agree. Yeah, so when Rowan left, it made him kind of think of that whole situation again, because he was just terrified that he would find her later on in the woods, like dead somewhere, because she was just too stubborn to let us protect you, Rowan. And it's like, my guy, you kidnapped her.
I literally can't physically roll my eyes back far enough.
Yeah. If I do, they're gonna pop out my ass, you know? Did that get you?
Yeah, it got me out.
Yeah, so Ro argues where she was like, well, actually, I kind of had the situation handled because, you know, I was gonna, you know, sort that with my dad and stuff.
I mean,
and
yeah, she did, yeah.
She kind of knew what she was, she didn't die, essentially,
Yeah,
was how
exactly.
but she was like, well, I'm fine, so fuck you. So Ron argues that, well, I'm fine, so what do we do now? Like,
Yeah.
why
What's your fucking
let's move on.
Yeah.
Like, what? Let's not just keep circling this. What do you want to do? As in where is this relationship going, kind of thing. So she is left again with a hard decision, as they have laid their hearts at her feet. So what happens is up to her. So Rowan's like, okay, way to put the pressure on, no problem. But she kind of comes to like a decision. She's like, this is the best of both worlds for me, because I have my family and my boyfriends within these walls. So I'm happy to continue, and then
and then kind of like see what happens.
yeah, exactly. And like let's work on this kind of conversation, because
Yeah.
she has no reason to leave, essentially. And Zach asks if she's sure about that decision, because if she chooses to be theirs, they're going to be keeping her no matter what happens. And she's like,
She's
okay.
not livestock, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's the word choice. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And Ro does try to initiate sex, but the boys are like, we're a bit tired. We've been searching for you all night.
It's been a lot.
It's been a long day, but Rowan then gets her boobies out. And she's like, you wanna be and and obviously they get horny. So Zach undresses her. They all start touching each other and kissing. It's like a big mangled mess of limbs. Yeah, I don't want to read it this time. I'm going to have to. Rowan tastes herself on Graham's fingers. And yeah, after that happens, she pretty much insta-comes. Which, okay.
Okay, sure.
They've literally they went for about 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's not how. No.
So they presumably have rambunctious sex all night, because it then cuts to Rowan waking up in the morning with the sound of a shotgun cocking at her door. And Graham, obviously PTSD war veteran that he is, kind of wakes up immediately and grabs a gun, and Zach shields Rowan from the intruder. It's her dad.
Oh my god. Oh fuck. I would fucking die.
I think I would literally die. Like,
I would literally
that'd be it.
I would just die on the spot.
I would pass away.
My soul would depart my body.
Like, okay, that was it. That's the final one. Yeah, so she has been well and truly caught in the act, quite literally, because they're all naked!
Of course they are. I just picture Graham, just like standing there.
He has a
with
little
something.
pillow.
Oh yeah.
He has a gun, and then he's just dick, and he's got like a hard on apparently as well, so he's just like, hello, father-in-law. Fuck.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he gets a little pillow. Yeah, so essentially Rick had gone looking for Ro, and Gracie had kind of ratted her out by being like, oh, well, she's probably in it then. You know, because kids.
Fucking kids.
And yeah, he is justifiably uncomfortable about the situation she is in.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why he needed to go in to see.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I know
Like,
what
couldn't
you
he have
mean,
just
yeah.
waited outside? But okay, whatever.
Okay, whatever.
So yeah, he informs her that they will not be staying here for much longer, as he has his own safe house to go to. So obviously Ro is thrown straight back into the choice of her family and her boyfriends. Yeah, that threw her for a curveball. She thought she'd be staying for at least a little bit while longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Zach immediately starts to try and persuade him to stay, and he's saying like, look, you're more than welcome, but Rick's like, a man has to have his own place. So staying here is not an option. So it's a pure power struggle kind of argument where he's like, yeah, but then I'd have to listen to your fucking rules, kid.
Yeah. Okay, sure, whatever.
So then Zach tries a different tactic and he pulls the safety card where he's like, well, you can't get a safer place than this. But again, that does not work, as Rick could have definitely killed them both in that instance. So
He
how
very much
safe
could have.
actually is it?
Yeah, we're just making points, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then also, like, that also proves how capable he is of keeping his own children kind of safe, you know. And he also brings up the point that the camp is far too well prepared to stay off the government's radar, so it will most likely be taken over at some point in order to keep America safe.
Yeah.
And the boys will most likely become prisoners of war if they try to resist.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, and Rick's dad, Rick the dad, has been a prisoner of war, and he ain't about that shit.
Yeah, no,
So
he's not doing
like,
that again.
my place is way more off the radar.
Yeah.
Ro would be fine there.
Yeah, he's not keen for a prisoner of war 2 Electro Boogaloo.
Yeah, he's really not keyed for that, so he's like, do you know what, I think we'll leave. Which is like actually an incredibly justifiable point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, hearing this and thinking back to last night's conversation where Ro kind of justified her point and he understood that she would always choose her family, Graham feigns disinterest in Ro and respects Rick's decision to leave. But oh, she can't go by herself? Absolutely fuck you, Graham.
Exactly! Like, oh my god! Oh, fuck, I can't even...
She would have always gone there.
Exactly,
and
she
been
would
fine.
have also gone and been fine. Exactly, like, that's what she's been trying to tell them the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
But as soon as this random man shows up, he's like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, no problem. Take your girl and go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he's so Graham says he's like, oh, I'll supply you with anything you want, and he's
So
just,
now they have supplies.
Yeah.
Spare plenty.
Yeah. you know,
It's fucking bullshit.
you know,
That's what it is.
you know,
It's bullshit.
you know. Anyway, yeah. So he doesn't even like give Ro a choice in the matter.
Yeah.
He phrases it in a way where he's like, when you and Ro and Erica leave, like kind of
Yeah.
foot down, that's it spoken for. So obviously Ro feels completely rejected and just gets stressed after her father leaves, and yeah, Zach tries to make her stay and talk about it, but she is far too upset by the way that Graham's handled this situation, and she's like, your team leader has spoken. So when Rowan leaves, Zach punches the wall. Which I was just like, of course Zach punches the wall. He just goes boof, and he just starts screaming at Graham where he's just like, I can't believe you fucking said that. I'm shocked Rick didn't shoot you right there and then. That was so disrespectful. I just like, but also it's like, this is the way that Graham has treated Rowan the entire book, but it's only
Exactly.
disrespectful when he says it in front of her father.
Exactly, and also, I don't know, I just find it quite funny when you remind yourself that this entire conversation took place with everybody
Butt-ass naked. I know.
I don't know, like...
Zach's punching walls, his dick's just flopping about.
just flopping in the wind.
You know? Yeah, so
God.
obviously he's like, Graham, why the fuck did you do that? But Graham kind of is like, well, of course Rome would choose her family again, so I made the choice for her, so she didn't have to suffer for choosing again, which
What? Yeah, exactly, because the entire time she has been choosing.
She has been choosing, and you haven't been listening, and only now do you not give her a choice in the sense that you just say whatever for her, and again, it's just like, what, my guy, what?
My guy!
You actually give her the choice to stay, and she probably would have willingly taken it, and then you just shut that shit down. What's going on? I'm so mad right now. So yeah, like Zach, like I am right now, Zach is very displeased with the way he handled it, and he storms off.
Once again, understandable. And you know who else is displeased? Rowan.
Yeah, no shit.
Rowan is also a little bit displeased. Oh my god, right? Oh, fuck. And yeah, like she has this whole fucking massive inner monologue about like, but you know, like she loves them, but she also loves her family, and she had felt worship when they had her together. It's like, okay. Like, I don't know where you got that from, baby girl, but sure. And so she's like, well, you know, guess I should thank my dad for showing Graham's true colors. And also I'm really confused by why, right? So there's no point in between there when it says that they put clothes on, and then she just like talks to her dad for a bit.
So Rowan, when Rick leaves, he leaves the cabin. Rowan meets him in the cafeteria.
Yes. Oh, you're right.
So she puts on clothes as she leaves.
You're right.
And presumably the boys do as they're arguing.
Yeah.
But also it'd be very funny if they were all still butt-ass naked. Like I understand why you brought that up.
Yeah, I just kind of missed that. And yeah, also she kind of brings up like, why is her dad up? He just fucking almost, you know, died yesterday.
Yeah, it's not like
he nearly
it's
bled
not like
out.
he got like grazed. Like he was
straight
up.
Yeah, exactly. He lost a lot of blood, and he's like, I'll be fine. And she's like, yeah, there's so many like daddy issues in this, and then he's like, oh my god, my daddy is the best. He's so supportive, and like she's so grateful that she's had you know like a really good daddy rather than like in comparison to Graham and Zach. And she's like, oh, but she's such a terrible daughter. But okay, this is actually a really nice moment. So her dad like is like actually like really proud of her, like really like respects her ambition and you know like her decision to leave and you know like work out in her career, you know.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't hold any form of
grudge at all, you know. Like she's just like her mama, you know, who also like worked very hard and shit. You know, I think this is actually quite nice, right? And like, okay, this is what I said earlier, right? This is why this pisses me off even more. Like throughout the entire book she keeps bringing up like what a piece of shit she is for like having some ambitions. Like, why is women having ambitions and not necessarily putting the family first in every single aspect of their life like a bad thing?
Yeah, I know.
Like it's not like she abandoned her father who was sick or something like that, you know what I mean? Like
he was fine.
He was perfectly fine and he's happy, you know.
That's
like
the point of being a person, is that you leave the family home.
Exactly.
And you become a fully developed person.
Exactly. Like she did nothing wrong there. Exactly. And like, you know, like so honestly like there is no problem. She's just making a problem, and like it really feels like, you know, kind of like from the like the narrative like, you know, says that as well, that like she should really spend more time with her family because like, that's like a big driving factor.
Think about it, like like if the world ended right now, would you feel happy? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be a bit more concerned about the world ending.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, just fuck off. Yeah, honestly, like, man. And yeah, so, you know, her dad kind of explains again. This is another thing, like, this book repeats itself all the fucking time. You know, that, like, he's not staying because the ranch is, like, a prime spot for anybody who knows them, who's in the military, because obviously they have a lot of friends or, like, contacts who are still in the military who will know where they are to attack them if things, you know, get proper hairy.
Yep.
And she's like, yeah.
shit foreshadowing.
Yeah,
just repeating yourself a bunch of times.
I know, right? And it's like, okay, I see that point.
Okay, yes, Dad, we understand. You said it 10 minutes ago.
Exactly.
When I was buzzing.
Oh my god, and then her dad asks, like, if she wants him to, like, shoot one of them, because she doesn't really need both, does she? That's quite funny.
That did make me smile.
They did make me smile. But, like, the dad is okay.
He's fine.
He's fine, yeah. Thin fucking eyes.
Thin fucking eyes, my guy. Oh my god.
Oh my god, right. So, kind of like for the past week or so, Graham's just been working as much as possible to take his mind off things. And, he doesn't know where, like, Zach's been avoiding him as well, and he doesn't know if he's sleeping these days, and, like, he hopes it's not with Ro. But, like, I mean, okay, tough shit, and he's like, what if I have to spend this night alone? And what if I have to spend the rest of my nights alone? And it's like
maybe you shouldn't have treated women like shit then.
Exactly, I shouldn't have treated women like shit. And it's like, I mean, I spend like 99.9% of my nights alone and it's fine, You get all the space in the bed,
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Also, there's 3 of them, like, in one bed all the time, you know what I mean?
Uncomfortable.
Like, it seems like so uncomfortable. Like, he should be enjoying the extra space. Zach comes by and tells them that they're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Graham is like, oh, can you not convince him to stay? And Zach is like, no. And, like, also, because he also like, oh, can you tell me who they are? And he's like, no, I can't. Like, this is your fucking fault,
Yeah, like you go ask her yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Go.
Prick.
Yeah, you deal with it. And then Zach drops that he's going with them.
Oh shit.
Woohoo! And he's like, I didn't see that one coming, did you? So that's kind of what he thinks to himself a bit.
Haha, didn't see that one coming, did you, prick?
But, like, he also doesn't feel good about it, because obviously Graham is, like, his oldest friend, but he's also in love with Rowan, so it's like,
He's like, yeah, I can't live with her, so I'm going with her.
Yeah,
because you've been a prick.
Yeah, exactly, which, like, I mean, I understand it's a conundrum for him, but also, like, that's fair. And also, like, the way, Graham reacts, like, he probably throws, like, a toddler temper tantrum and, like, tries to kick him out, like...
He's like,
rather
leave
than
my
just...
fucking ranch!
Yeah, exactly, rather than just having, like, a conversation, he, like, oh, yeah, he just makes, like...
Yeah.
Weird shit. And, yeah, I mean, well, Zach just says, like, oh yeah, he hopes that Ro will let him come, so clearly, like, he hasn't discussed this with her.
Yeah. Which is an important point, right?
Exactly, like, he should maybe, like, discuss it with her first,
okay.
and then go tell other people,
Firstly, yes, he should have brought it up with Ro. Secondly, Graham should have picked it up that Rowan also doesn't know about this. And then he doesn't, and then the rest of that chapter happens.
Good point, actually. Oh yeah, you're right, actually, yes.
Like, fuck you.
Oh shit, I was just reading that song. Yeah,
Fuck you for being, like, Graham, fuck you.
Yeah, no, honestly, he's such a dumb cunt, like.
Yes.
Yeah, oh my god. And Graham is all like, oh, this was Ro's fault.
Even though she has no idea.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, fucking woman taking his best friend. Like, this is what women do. They just pick meanies and break up friendships with the homies. Yeah, like, so he finds her in the mess hall and just, like, he's like, okay, everybody else leave. And Ro's like, brah, you haven't seen you in a week, and now he's just kind of kicking everybody out.
And you're just storming in here, and like Gracie's in there, and he's like, get out. And
yeah,
then,
exactly.
She's like a little kid.
Yeah,
like,
he really scares her.
Like
exactly.
That.
Yeah, exactly. And then so it's actually quite nice. So like Leah, like before she leaves, she kind of like looks at Ro, like waits.
To be like, do you actually want me to
exactly.
go?
And then like Ro kind of like nods, and so only then she goes.
Yeah.
But obviously Ro's still annoyed, And he, oh my god, right? And she's like, dude, what the fuck? He's like,
why are you so mad?
Yeah, what's going on? And Graham's just like, how did you convince him? You witch! You harlot!
You slut!
Yeah, exactly.
What have you been doing behind my back?
You've been using your woman magic to destroy my friendship and tempt my homie. And she's just like,
we're exaggerating, but it is that dramatic.
It is that dramatic, and that is essentially what you're saying. Like, he honestly is very like, oh my god, like, she's so like this be like seductress and whatever. And she's like, bruh, what? And he gets physical, like grabs her, and he's like, am I not good enough for you? And she's like,
shoves her up against the wall.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, also like the entire time, like, could have fucking talked to her, like, and not just like assume that like it's so she's like, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so obviously Ro has no fucking idea what the fuck he's going on about.
What he's even going on about, exactly. Okay, I quite like this. So Leah comes in and points a gun at him and tells him, to fucking let Ro go.
Yeah.
And like he kind of does, but because he doesn't want Ro to accidentally get shot if she, if she shoots. So it's like, okay, sure. And okay, this is so dumb, right? Because like, so Graham is all like, oh yeah, she's clearly like so unstable, and it's like, oh no, it's not, because you were, like, brutally raped, and you are literally physically assaulting this woman that she's like not taking shit. Like, no, she's unstable.
Who also, like, kind of saved her from
absolutely, yeah, exactly.
a life of being brutally raped and then ultimately murdered.
Exactly.
She and Rowan, although have never really had conversations in the book, evidently have some form of friendship.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Graham has the cheek to be like, she's like so unstable, when he's literally just gone in this woman's face.
Exactly.
And he's just shook her like a ragdoll, being like, what did you fucking do? Like, unstable?
Exactly. It's like,
you want to talk about unstable?
Exactly. And so, like, what do you do with an unstable person who has a gun?
I know. Leap at them.
Exactly, yeah, leap at them and try to wrestle the gun out of their hands. It's like, bruh.
So dumb. Because he's like, oh, she might hit Rowan. No, she won't.
Yeah, exactly.
She's very clearly trained on you, my guy.
Exactly.
If you back up and walk all the way out, she'll follow you with the gun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like, Rowan's gonna be absolutely fine. And then we saw, like, obviously they like makes the trigger go off.
Yeah.
And so he gets shot in the oblique, and I'm not sure which muscle it is, but he says like his lower left side is hurting, so I think, is that like that? Like bat hip kind of?
I thought it was kind of above the hip, like abdomen.
Oh yeah, I think you're right actually, kind of like side of the okay. So he gets shot.
Yeah,
so
he
it's
gets
like,
shot.
well, tough titties, mate.
Yeah. I mean, Rowan obviously tells Leah after said shooting goes down, go get Bo, because Graham's been shot.
Yeah.
And Graham like dramatically drags himself over to Rowan to make sure if she's okay.
Like, she's fine.
Like, she's absolutely fine. Like, you've blown this way out of proportion. Also, you are acting so erratically right now.
Know,
like,
right?
it's so uncomfortable.
It really is.
How, like, fucking manic he is. And after like a couple of minutes, Bo appears and he helps stop the bleeding, and Rowan just straight up faints from the stress.
Whatever.
Which is like fair enough.
Yeah, I guess she kind of is,
Yeah, like she'd been talking as well about how she'd felt like really uncomfortable like the full day, because obviously
understandably
it's been like a whole ass week of her just like, just like no one talking to her and like everyone being really uncomfortable, and she's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, she just straight up faints from the stress, as I would if a man came up and started screaming at me.
Yeah,
that would be it.
Yeah.
Yep. So she wakes up later on in the clinic with Zach passed out next to her, and he stirs when he realises she's up and kind of explains what happened while he gives her some water. So, turns out it wasn't just the stress. She had another infection from like all the wounds where she had been bound by her captors. So, and they've been like treating that over the past like couple hours for her because they think it's antibiotic resistant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is like fair enough. But Graham's fine, by the way. Boo. Fuck. Boo. We were like, oh, I remember when I listened to the end of the chapter where he gets shot, because that's where the chapter ends. I was just like, is Graham gonna die? I was like so excited. And I was like, maybe this book's actually kind of bad. But like, he doesn't die. The bullet apparently just grazed him.
What's the opposite of rest in peace?
Pardon?
What's the opposite of rest in peace?
Burn in hell?
I suppose. Yeah.
It took me so long. I was trying to find like a literal flip of it, but no, I feel like burn in hell's pretty kind of
right on, yeah.
Anyway, she is like, oh yeah, he's not dead, and I was like, and she wonders why Graham isn't also in the clinic, but apparently,
he's just so hard, you could just walk off a gun.
Fine that he's just like absolutely okay. But like she obviously gets it in her head like, he was really mad and really scary, so he probably doesn't want to be anywhere near me right now, and that's why he's not there. Whatever. So she obviously then remembers the whole ordeal like properly, and she asks Zach like, what the fuck was he going on about? And Zach kind of explains the conversation they had, or at least he starts to, and then her dad walks in. So, and her dad walks in. Oh shit, her dad walks in.
Oh my god.
Have you heard that song?
Oh, is it the one, how does it start
It's
again?
like, and then it's hot, hot, hot. I said, come on, sweetheart, take it off. So I will take it off, and she will take it off. And then her dad walks in. Oh shit, her dad walks in.
Yes, I know.
Sorry, it's a really good song. Anyway, so yeah, Rick appears, and Zach's like, okay, and he jumps off, he boogies away. And yeah, so Ro and Rick have a conversation where they agree that they should hold off from leaving until she feels a bit better and like things have kind of calmed down, and he spills the beans that Zach is going to join them, which like lets her like put the pieces all together.
Yeah.
Like that moment, is it The Hangover where all like
Yes. Oh, the rain. It's originally from Rain Man.
yeah. Where she's like, oh. Yeah, so obviously she now understands why Graham had an absolute fanny, kind of, and she thinks about whether she should like allow Zach to come. Like, should she break up this duo because they've been friends for so long?
Well, yeah, but also like, you know, Zach could have talked to her directly, you know.
Yeah, he could have had a conversation with her, but apparently not, because no
No.
one communicates in this book,
No,
and that is
you
what we've
don't.
learned. So, Rick leaves, Bo comes back, and gives her like a little checkup, and he's like, yeah, I want you to stay on fluids for a little while longer, and this is where shit gets interesting.
Tell us.
So, he's playing good doctor, he's checking like all
Like her vitals
possible...
and shit, yeah.
Not even, like, yeah, he's checked her vitals, but he's also, like, checking out all possible reasons why she could have fainted. So obviously infection had something to do with it. But he's like, just out of curiosity, because I have to ask because you're a woman. When was your last period? Which,
Oh, she done fuck.
she forgot. So, we now find out that she was on the pill, but obviously, like,
She's run out.
things been going on that she's just not been taking it for
Yeah.
like a hot fucking minute.
Yeah.
And yeah, she realises, oh shit, it's very likely that she is pregnant. As her last period was before the end of the world. So
That was a threat. To be honest, I feel like this book takes place over like 2 weeks or something.
it genuinely does.
It actually does, yeah.
Probably like a month.
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe a month. So
Maybe a
like
month.
even though that sounds, you know, crazy, it probably wasn't that long ago. Like, you know.
No, because she set off as soon as the world ended.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. So
yeah,
it's just regular,
world
like,
ended.
yeah, like-
It's still there.
Yeah.
Society ended, shall we say. Yeah, sorry. But important to note, it is unlikely she has any STDs, as the boys usually wrap that shit up. And in theory, any medications Bo has been given her for this infection would have cleared that anyway.
First of all, I think
Which also, that's not how that works.
that's not how
but
that
that's how
works.
they explain
That's
it
not,
away.
like, okay, sure. That's not how that works. And also, like, okay, see, like, that when somebody fucks you raw and then goes like, oh yeah, but I usually wear a condom, so it's fine. Like,
But you didn't this time.
exactly. So like,
So what's to say you didn't do it last time?
Exactly.
With someone else.
so
exactly.
exactly. So I'd be like, that's like not very believable. Like,
Exactly. So obviously Bo is like, okay, let's just do a pregnancy test and we'll see how that kind of turns out. And she's obviously very worried that the infection may have hurt the baby, but he says like, it's all gonna be okay, it's too early to hurt a baby, we're fine. So the test is negative, but she should take another one in a week, although she won't be there. Awkward. So her sister arrives and asks when they can go, and Bo's like, yeah, I think she'll be ready to go like in a few days, we just want to like keep some
Yeah.
observation to make sure this infection is like properly gone, which is fair enough. And yep, the next day Ro is doing much better, and she has like left the clinic and decides that she's going to sleep in the girls' cabin for the next few days, because fuck that.
yeah.
Fuck that mess.
Yeah, it's just
Fuck
a
that
no.
noise.
Yeah, nah.
So Rowan kind of explains to Erica the whole situation of like how she eventually got here and like what's been going down. So things are really awkward over the next few days because Graham has been completely avoiding her, and Zach has been trying to spend as much time as he can with her, but he feels really guilty about his decision to leave, so he's been on like watch and duty and shit like that, like a lot more than he usually would have been. So it's also important to note that although Zach and Rowan are spending a lot of time together, no sexy times are happening, and a small part of Rowan is afraid that it won't be the same without Graham there.
Oh, because she wants another dig in the butt.
Yeah, but it's Graham's dick. Put it away!
I mean, yeah, of course, but like she
does.
She wants another dig in the butt.
Well, it's more she's worried that the passion won't be there.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
She's like, I don't know. So Ro is obviously very freaked out that she might be pregnant, and she's also like wondering who the baby daddy is.
Which is a valid question.
She's trying to like work it out, like logistically. She's like, who would have done that? Yeah, and she goes to get checked out again by Bo, but Graham is there, and it is a very awkward moment. So they have like a really painful conversation about her leaving. Painful in the sense that it's just like so uncomfortable, and Bo's just like, oh my god, I think I can hear like someone calling for me, and they're like, no, stay. He's like, okay,
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. So Graham is like really blank with her and really defeated, and it kind of comes across like he's no longer fighting for her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which makes Rowan really annoyed. So she flips out on him, and Bo's like, I'm gonna go. So Graham whines again about not being chosen, and Ro argues like, okay, but you chose to abandon me.
Exactly. Like, he could have, just be like, oh, I guess can I come?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You chose to make that decision for me.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
You chose it.
Yeah.
So
you did.
I get to complain about you abandoning me this time. And she like storms out, and Graham's like, oh, that's actually a really fair point. Yep. Sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, was that it? Oh, okay. So it's time for a farewell dinner that Alison has cooked, and it's absolutely cracking, obviously.
Because it's Alison.
Because Alison, because Alison's a chat, but it's awkward. Like, surprisingly, like little Gracie brings it up as well. She's like, "What, Mummy? If this is meant to be a party, why is everybody so quiet?
It's like, why is no one celebrating?"
So awkward.
So funny though.
It's so funny. And like Ro wasn't really eating much. Like, she feels like she doesn't feel very well, and so Zach's concerned about her. Also, her boobs hurt. And Jonah makes a toast to the Callahans about the family, and it's like, thanks so much, guys, and may your ammo always be dry and plentiful. And it's like, okay. He literally says that.
He literally says that.
He does. Like, obviously, it was just some other stuff, like the regular shit, like good health and stuff, but
so
that's,
funny.
yeah.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, Roach just kind of wants the next 24 hours to be like over and done with, because this is not it. This is not it. Yeah, this ain't it, Chief. And I mean, this is kind of nice. So like, Zach tries to take care of her and comfort her a bit, and he's like, oh, sometimes the hard choice is the right choice, and like all that shit. So Graham isn't there. Obviously, he's drinking in the command post, and Zach shows up. And so Zach tells him that it's kind of like his father was miserable,
Yeah.
And Graham is like, he's all like edgelord, and it's like, okay, cool then, pull up a chair and we can toast to your happy little family, whatever. Graham is not coping. Like, he throws the glass at the wall randomly, and Zach is like, oh, did you ever think about joining us? Like, that's always been on the table, so you don't need to be such a dick.
Yeah.
Graham's about to throw the bottle as well. Jesus, get it together, mate. And he's like, of course I thought about it, but I can't leave the ranch. These 5 fully grown, highly experienced, and highly skilled military men can't look after themselves somehow. Like,
I know.
Okay, sure.
It's like, hey, maybe the way you feel about can't leave the ranch is how Rowan felt about not being able to abandon her family for 2 strangers she'd known for 3 days.
Exactly. Yeah, Right, so it's like the next morning, Rick's filling up the truck, and Graham gave them some extra guns. So like, literally, like, as they're filling up, Ro goes to Zach like, I can't let you do this, you gotta think of the homies. You know,
Bros before hoes, my guy.
yeah, so she starts running crying.exe.
Oh, that's good. That was a good joke. Well done.
I mean, thanks. Yeah, so she's kind of like, oh, I can't, break up this friendship and shit. And see, like, that's another thing, right? Because, like, why does nobody in this book just, like, respect, like, a grown person's, like, decisions? Because, like, Zach is like...
There's no autonomy in this.
There's no autonomy in this. Because, like, Zach is like, oh, like, I can make my own decisions. And Rose like, no, you can't! And so Graham's watching...
You're not thinking with your mind, you're thinking with your dick!
And Graham's watching from the command post. And so he sees, Zach walking away from the truck and the truck leaving. So Graham fucking legs it, to Zach. He's like, you were right the entire time. We can't leave. We can't let her leave without us. Like, the guards stopped them at the gate. And Zach's is like, bish, you couldn't have thought of it sooner.
Like when we had that conversation last night.
Exactly. Like, the entire time you had, like, this, like, all this shit going on. Like, you couldn't have made up your mind a little bit, Yeah, he's like, oh, I won't let her get away, no matter what she thinks is the right choice. We're just like, It's like, there's a line in BoJack Horseman, or it's like a news story, like, has the concept of women having choices gone too far?
Yes.
And yeah, so obviously they're like, let's get going. So they kind of like, hastily like pack up some shit, and so like they run into Bo, and he's like, oh, what's going on? And they explain briefly what's happening, and Bo just like tosses them a backpack and tells them to give that to Ro. And yeah, Ro in the car, and is just like fucking crying. The dick was so good, and now I have to leave it behind.
Literally what just kind of it.
And I don't even have electricity to charge my vibrator anymore. So they kind of like leave, like the actual camp, and then they get to like the main gate, which is like a bit away. And Ty's there, guarding that, like fiddling with the gate, and he's saying like, "Ooh, I got the wrong set of keys, but don't worry, somebody's bringing them." And
he's doing like a whole stand-up comedy routine.
Exactly, it's actually kind of cute. Like, and so eventually people show up with the keys, actually, quotation marks, and it's Zach and Graham, obviously. Like, Zach just like gets in the car and like tells her like she's not leaving without them, and Graham agrees that like he just couldn't let her go. And yeah, so they put their shit in the car and go, and
I guess Rick's fine with it.
He doesn't really comment, to be honest. He's just like, okay.
At this point he's like, let's just get the fuck
exactly
out
like
of here.
Can we just finally wrap this up, guys? Like. And I'll come and see in the car, and she's like, oh yeah, like she's between Zach and Graham in the back, like just how she's meant to be. I was like, okay. And so Ty opens the gate, and he's like, oh, been the right keys all along. I mean, it's kind of
You little trickster.
He's a little trickster. And so as they're like getting in the car, like one of the guys, tossed Erica in the back to like hold it, and she like has a be nosy and goes like, what's in the box? Like in the backpack. Mm-hmm. And this is a funny laugh, like where the chapter cuts off. And then Rick is like, before he starts the truck again, he's like, why am I seeing a pregnancy test and prenatal vitamins?
You fucking, like, full names are as well.
He's yeah.
Rowan Elizabeth.
Yeah. It was so big, and he was like, did any of these guys knock you up? And she's like, I don't think so, but I don't know. And the guys are also like, where you gonna tell us? Or where you gonna like leave with like our child? Or sorry. And yeah, she kind of like explains it's gonna be another while for her to find out if she's preggo or not. But I was like, sorry.
Oops. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah. So Rick is just like straight up, making a U-turn and going back to the ranch because like
he's like, oh no, we're not doing this today.
Yeah, exactly. Because almost like the mother almost died giving birth, so he's like, like this is too risky. Mm-hmm. Because like they have a doctor there. And she's like, oh, well, like, can you calm down? Like, what if Murph's not even pregnant? And he's like, oh, well, in that case, we'll see. But if you are, I'll stand by with a shotgun until one of them marries you. Which is just so fucking absurd. like, you caught your daughter, like, having a threesome, basically. But, like, you were concerned, like, none of them needs, like, what? That she's not married? Like, and also, like, their society isn't a thing anymore. It's like, what? And then also, like, it just gets worse. So Graham just goes like, oh, I'll be marrying her anyway, regardless of whether she's pregnant. And she's like, you're? And Erica goes, that was the worst proposal I've ever heard.
Yeah.
She's great. And which is quite funny, but then Graham, like, he has a chance here to, like, make it up, be like, oh shit, I just said in my mind, but I'm gonna be really cute, really married.
Yeah.
No, he goes, because it wasn't a proposal, it's a done deal. And it's like,
What the
fuck? Like, I think this was decided, like, what, like, the 1200s or something, that, like, a priest needs, like, both people's consent to officiate a wedding, you know what I mean? Like, this is a pretty, like, old and established concept. That marriage should be, like, a mutual agreement. But okay.
Okay, Graham.
Okay, Graham. So, we're back at the ranch now, and so the period watch is starting. But she's talked kind of out of a marriage for now, though, because broadly gestures and everything.
Yeah,
like,
where would we find a priest?
Yeah, how would we even do this? Like, there's, like, the government isn't really functioning anymore.
It's
you
not
know,
like it would be legal,
yeah.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and also, like, what do you even care at this, you know?
Who cares at this point, yeah.
But he's like, but she showed a commitment in the bedroom. It's like, okay, gross. Yeah, it's gross. So after 4 days, the guys just, like, make her take a test. This is the only point where I can sort of agree with them being a little bit, can you please do this now? Because, like, they're going to be anxious as well.
Yeah.
That was an accident. And it's positive. Dum, dum, dum. And Graham's ready to celebrate, but Ro, like, wants to be sure, and he's like, do you want this baby or not? And he was like, I want to just know, I just want to know.
Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, exactly. And also...
Yell at a pregnant woman.
Yeah. Stop yelling at a pregnant woman. And she was like, does it matter that I don't know whose it is? They're like, it's all ours. And, oh my god, this is so gross as well, right? So Graham goes, oh, don't worry, if it comes out looking like Zach, I just knock you up the next time. It's just like...
Okay.
What? Okay. Yeah, Rose like, let's slow down a bit, maybe. Like,
the next time?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't even know if we're pregnant with, like, our supposed first child yet, so, like, let's chill it. But the second test is still positive.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, oh fuck, there's a baby. There is a baby. Confirmed. So Graham starts to think about all the things that could go wrong with the pregnancy, and he's just like, yeah, no, fuck this. We need to convince Rick to stay here even after the baby is born. Rowan does not need that kind of stress while she's trying to, like, you know, grow a human being. So yeah, it is time for him to pull out the big guns, but not just yet. They all announce their pregnancy. Woo! So Erica is buzzing, and Rick is happy that he's gonna be a grandpa, even though it's under quote unquote strange circumstances.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so Graham and Zach are like, we have something to show you. And they take Rick down to the bunkers whilst Ro has breakfast. And she also talks, like, pregnancy with Bo, so, like, what to eat, what to not eat, all those things. So Rick is really impressed by what he's shown, and he thinks, like, it might be better than where they were originally planning to go, like, his place. Okay. But he's still not sure, because it would, like... Because the boys are trying to justify it where it's like, oh, but if the government ever do come, we'll just go down here. And he's like, yeah, but then you're just living in a hole.
Yeah, exactly, like, for forever. Yeah, because, like, then, like,
it's like, that wouldn't be a worry.
You can't go,
yeah. The government wouldn't be a worry where they're going. So Graham puts a stop to the whole pissing match and argues that Ro needs stability. So they all kind of agree, like, okay, we're going to work together to reach a solution, and we agree right now no one will be separated. So there's another proper celebration dinner, and the boys take many, many shots, and Rowan's like, oh, I hope they don't get too drunk, because I want to fuck them. Which, okay, girl, calm down.
You do you.
You're already pregnant. Enough. Yeah, and Ro sits really content, just kind of watching this little family that's kind of been formed.
Aww.
And she just feels, like, amazingly at peace with the little person growing inside her. And she is now wearing both men's dogs' tags. dog tags, like their
their army,
yeah, as a sign of their commitment. But personally, I feel like it's more of an ownership thing to me.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, oh, who do you belong to when you wear a literal dog tag?
Exactly, that's
like a dog.
It has like your owner's name on it. Yeah.
So that's how that kind of felt. Anyway, so they all go off to have sex. And then it cuts like straight away to her in labour talking about how she's never having sex again, which did like it genuinely got a laugh out of me.
Yeah, because that was like the epilogue, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
where she's like, I'm going to castrate both of you. We are never having a baby again. And their baby is here though, and it is a little girl, and they all marvel at how like tiny she is, and they name her Mira. Don't know the significance, if I'm honest. Just cool beans.
Cool beans.
And Zach gets first hold of the baby. But before Graham can get his turn, he has to leave as the sensors have been triggered and someone's at the gate claiming to know him. Dun, dun, dun. So we find out in this epilogue that over kind of the 8 months it's taken, obviously, for this baby to brew, the military...
Steep
form. The military have been on the scene rounding up everyone they can to work as labourers. So this might not be a good reunion. Yep, and literally the book ends with Graham like grabbing a gun and like going to the gate, and that's where it ends. That's it.
That's it.
That's the end.
Oh, we did it.
I can't believe it's done.
Oh my god. Just I'm gonna say this right now. We are not gonna review part 2. So it's like,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure there is one, isn't there?
There is definitely a sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's further books.
Yeah.
Because I know that Meghan March is a best-selling novelist.
Yeah, she writes a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
we're never reviewing another Meghan March book though.
Yeah.
Because I've just been a bit too traumatized.
Yeah. So like, if you wanna know who the mysterious person at the gate is, just
Read
write
the
yourself.
book.
Yeah. Read the book, mate.
Pay her money, I guess.
No, I'm not gonna advocate for piracy on our podcast.
Wink, wink.
So,
fuck this.
Should we launch into the round?
Yeah. Oh my god. Right. Can you remember the point where I was gonna rant at?
Yes, it was. Wasn't it the one with the tracks?
Right. Okay. Here's my main issue with this book. And I have a lot of issues with this book, right? The rednecks are in this simply so Graham and Zach can be justified in their actions. Correct?
Yes, correct.
They serve no other narrative purpose other than for Graham and Zach to be like, told you so, you shouldn't have left.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understand?
Yeah.
Here's the way I frame it, and this is how I know this is correct, right? Not to big up myself, but big up me. Toot my own horn.
You should toot. Your horn should
Right?
be tooted, yeah.
I'm tooting. So, had Rowan left
Yes.
and never ran into the rednecks.
Like originally, yeah.
Yeah. Not even originally.
But
Had
you feel
had Rowan left that when she snuck off
yeah, on her second escape,
and
yeah.
never ran into the rednecks, right?
Yeah.
What would Graham and Zach have said had they caught her?
Exactly.
What would they have done?
Exactly.
She would be walking her way perfectly fine on her own, and do you know what they would have done? They would have shown up and they would have dragged her back.
Exactly.
And you know
yes.
that would have happened.
You know that would have happened, yes, absolutely.
Even though she's probably halfway there already, so they might as well just walk her to the door
yeah.
and then fuck off.
Yeah.
But no, they would have dragged her back, and that just proves that the rednecks are only in there to justify their kidnapping of this woman.
Yes, honestly,
You know?
I had never I never considered that like that, but like you are 100% right.
You know?
And like yes, that is exactly what would have happened.
Right?
Like yes, maybe that was like the first draft, and then the editor was like, "May, that's a bit too dark. You need to write something in there to make it seem justified." And it's like, it's just bullshit. Like yeah, absolute bullshit.
Their whole stance is that she can't take care of herself, even though she made it the whole way across the state.
Exactly, because she was in Chicago, and like I
Yeah.
assumed that like in a major city like that's where like things would have been the worst in the
Yeah.
beginning, and like she made it through perfectly fine herself.
Yeah.
Like she's a grown ass woman who can look after
And,
herself.
and,
like
and the book the plot of this book nerfs her, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Because it just goes, oh, we'll see the things that the men were telling you, it's true. Like,
Yeah,
Look,
absolutely.
you shouldn't have done this, little girl.
Yeah.
And now they have to come save you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know, right?
Fucking hated
So,
it.
same. There are so many things in there, right? So,
There's so many things.
there's so many things. So, can we talk about this, like, weird military porn?
Yeah.
It's very, like... Why? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like also...
The sex is described in as much detail as, like, the guns are. You
Yes, exactly.
know?
Like, yeah, oh my god, they are. And it's like, you know, I don't care, but
Which I'm
also...
sure it's someone's thing, but...
Oh,
like,
absolutely, yeah.
This is not a woman's erotica novel. This is
Usually-
a man's erotica novel.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And I don't mean that, like, I'm not trying to say, like, a man wrote this, even though I do personally suspect that Meghan March is a pseudonym, just from this book alone.
Could be,
what
yeah,
I'm trying
very
to
well.
say is, this book is written for men.
Yeah, that's very much what
You
it
know?
feels like, isn't it? Like, yeah, and this whole like weird like ownership thing, or also, well, I feel like it could be written like ostensibly for women, but there's so much like internalized misogyny in this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's because I think that, you know, like the author, whether, you know, like they're a woman or a man, I don't think she's like, I'm just gonna say she because I pen name
yeah,
is,
pen
you know,
name's
like
she.
my pen name she. I don't think they've like consciously aware of this maybe, but like this whole thing of like, you know, like how Rogue is like stripped of all her autonomy all the time, and like how what we were saying is she gets like nerfed all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, and also how she just like, see, like realistically she should like tell these people to fuck themselves in the end and just be like, okay, you know, like Dad, Erica, let's go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like let's go to the safe house, like, and then yeah, because like half the book she was just, I mean, that was pretty much like the halfway point when he left the last episode. She was escaping, and then like all of a sudden she like wants to like live with them happily ever after, like have their baby, and it's like, I mean, okay, maybe the sex was good, okay, but
You've known him for, like, literally a month.
exactly, I was just gonna say that, right? Because like that whole book takes place over the span of like maybe a month, you know, probably less.
Obviously not the ending, because that kind of...
Well, yeah, of course. So that's
Goes
like a
through a
fast
whole
forward.
year,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But like everything like before the epilogue, and it's like, no,
And it is just like, no.
just it's a no for me, dog.
It's a no for me, dog. I think it's just incredibly unrealistic. It has certain BDSM elements that are just not used correctly, if that makes sense.
Yes, and also that just paint a really harmful way of BDSM, right? Because I really feel like, especially like, you know, since like 50 Shades of Grey was so popular and that,
Yeah.
and also like even since like
The
because, like,
365 days.
yeah, all of these things, right? Because like responsibly practice BDSM, you know, like obviously whatever you want to do, guys, you know, as long as you're like, you know, safe and consensual. You know what I mean?
That's the key word.
Safe,
so-
sane, and consensual, you know,
Yeah.
like that's all fine, but I feel like so many people just kind of like got into that whole thing like in this like amateur way, like, okay, I'm gonna do a hot fucking take. I feel like a lot of men who claim they're dominant are actually just like abusers.
It's a true fact, actually.
Yeah, exactly, and like, you know what I mean, because like if you're dominant, but like, you know, you very much care about your partner and you discuss beforehand what's happening and like, everything's comfortable with that. And,
Fair
you know,
enough,
fair
yeah.
enough, you know, like, that's okay, you know, like, you do your king, but, like, people who just, like, randomly slap random women are abusers, you know what I mean? Without their consent, or even, like, knowing them, or establishing any sort of boundaries.
This, for me, is, like, a key example of what is wrong in, like, the kind of new, quote-unquote, new BDSM, like,
Yeah,
post
exactly.
50 Shades
Yeah,
BDSM
exactly.
community.
Like, trendy, yeah.
Where things are taken and they're like, oh, this is really sexy, but they're not putting into the correct context whatsoever.
Exactly.
So the whole point of BDSM is that it's like fun,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
This book at no point is Rowan actually having fun.
Yeah, I know
Apart from
exactly.
when she's like, obviously when she's having sex, fair enough, she's
Yeah.
enjoying it. But Rowan is stressed out,
Yeah.
uncomfortable,
Yeah, exactly.
and angry the entire time.
That is a good point, yeah.
Personally, I would not have a partner who made me feel like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And that's why I don't think it's realistic.
Yeah, it has a very like Stockholm syndrome, I feel, to
totally.
it. You know what I mean? Yeah, because like these people like make her feel horrible the entire time.
Yeah.
And it's not like, right, because if she had like literally no other option, like the other option was like to, you know, like go in the wilderness, try to make it by
Yeah.
herself. Maybe there would be a case where she'd be like, okay,
Guess
This
I'll put
is-
up with this.
this isn't ideal, but you know, I'm relatively safe and I get some dick, you know,
Mm-hmm.
considered. But she has a great other options. She can be with her family and be safe, you know, so it's like, it just makes no fucking sense.
We also said this in the last recording, but I think it's such a shame that the lawyer aspects of her character wasn't used correctly.
Right?
Because I feel like it would have been much more interesting for her to be like, look, I've studied law, this is the law, what you're doing is unlawful.
Yeah.
As someone who works with the like in the military, in the army, like, you should respect this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then be a bit more like, it shouldn't be a woman's job to train misogyny out of a man. That should be wholly on the man to be like, okay, do you know what? Let's take a step back. I am being a misogynist.
Yeah.
But it would have been a really interesting take had that been what happened.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, she had directly addressed Graham's sexism and misogyny, like, to his face.
Yeah.
And then addressed Zach's, like, bystander misogyny.
Yeah.
And said, look, guys, this isn't cool.
Yeah.
And, like, showed them, like, oh yeah, do you know what? Women are people and we've been pricks and I'm really sorry for what I've done. Like, that would have been a really interesting book.
And also because, like, it would have been, and also just, like, even just, like, narratively, it would have, like, because it wouldn't have given them a proper arc, because, like, nobody in this has any character development.
Yeah, no, not at all.
There's, like, none at all, because, like, even
this
Graham...
fake character development, you know?
Yeah, like, the only thing is, like, oh, Graham can fall in love now, but it's, like...
No, but, like,
not really,
Graham's
you know what I mean?
throwing glasses until 24 hours before he decides that actually he wants to keep this woman, do you know what I mean? So
exactly, like, he's not exactly.
No
not
development
really.
actually happens.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Like, yeah, absolutely not.
You know?
And I feel like, honestly, like, the main reason that he, like, decides he's, like, not in love with Rose because, like, Zach's, like, leaving with her. You know what I mean? That's just like, oh, you know, like, if you can have it, I want to have it too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's any like, that much to do with, like, Rose herself, actually. Because, like, the entire time he just bitches about her. Like, there's this one, like, weird speech where he was like, he came into a world like a flashbang. And then other than that, like, he just bitches about her and is, like, mad at her the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
And talks about how much he wants to, like, beat her ass. And it's just, like, very comfortable.
He actually doesn't have a nice thing to say about her other than that she is attractive.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Oh,
fuck
oh
this
my
book,
god,
fuck this book so much. Oh,
do you want to do a rating?
Yeah, let's do a rating.
Okay.
Okay.
On this podcast, we rate on 3 categories, which are
quality of the writing, plausibility, and sexiness.
Okay. Quality of the writing.
I'm really struggling here, right? Okay, another thing that really pisses me off about this book, right, is because, sorry.
No, go for it.
Because this is in context to this,
yeah.
but because it could be so good. Like, the bones are there. Like, the premise, I think, is interesting.
Yeah, the structure is there.
The structure is there.
The
like,
concept, immaculate.
Concept, amazing. There's some great side characters, like Alison and Erica. You know, they could have gotten such more backstory. Even some of the boys on the ranch, you know, like Ty and, like, Jonah seem quite decent.
Jamie, all these people,
yeah, exactly. You know, all seemed, you know, decent and nice, and, like, could have gotten so much more, like, to do. As you know, as you said, there could have been a great, like, arc and character development for, you know, like, both Graham and Zach to kind of address their issues, and, you know, because, I mean, obviously both these boys are, like, deeply traumatized, you know.
Yeah.
And, like, to kind of, like, maybe, like, work on that a little bit and kind of, like, have some introspection, and, you know, kind of, like, heal together, you know what I mean? I feel like there could have been, like, a really nice arc, and, like,
none of that shit happens.
You know what I mean? It's just like none of that happens. Yeah. And it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
And honestly, okay, I'm gonna say, while the writing could be better for the reason that, like, it had so much potential and it threw it out of the window right into, like, a shit stain, it gets a 2 from me, because, like, that's a finally even worse than something that's, like, straight up bad.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna agree with the 2. Quality of the writing, like, it's fine.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The actual, like, what is written is fine. The what is written, though?
Yeah.
Bullshit,
you
know?
Exactly.
You know, like, that's the way I'm gonna try and describe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Plausibility. I'm on the fence about this one because, on the one hand, would men act like this?
Yeah.
Absolutely they would. Would women act like this? Maybe a traumatized one.
See, like, that's what I was gonna say, right? Because, like, I could absolutely see somebody acting like this, but, like, that would make it far darker, because, like, that would be, like, a really traumatized woman who's just, like, really scared of, like, the consequences of, you know, if she says no to these men, you know, and who just kind of, like, you know, like, submits to her perceived fate, you know.
That isn't the way that
Exactly.
Rowan reacts to it.
Exactly,
do you know what I mean?
because like that's not how she's
She like
described as well.
gaslights herself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. So like, no, that makes no fucking sense. You're right. Like, you know,
You get what I mean?
hashtag Rowan isn't a real woman. Like, we've said it before. We're saying it again.
Yeah. So plausibility, I'm gonna give it a 3, simply because. No, actually, do you know what? Fuck that. I'm giving it a 1. I hate this book, and I wish it wasn't plausible, so it's getting a 1. That's it.
Which is valid. Okay, maybe like I'm not.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
I was gonna give it a 5.
Oh my god.
Smack them in the middle.
Okay.
Because,
Uh-huh.
yes, men, especially military men, absolutely would act like this because they are not being taught any helpful coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
These men are all very much traumatized
Yep.
by the time in the military, and like the military-industrial complex as a whole fosters this kind of behavior.
And they've not had the same kind of socialization.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
they've had a completely different young, like, you know,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
Like when you leave high school, that's when you like start to like learn things
Yeah,
about
exactly.
like your position in society and your impact on other people. And I don't have any military experience, but I
Yeah.
can imagine that being in that environment, especially from a young age, could have a completely different
absolutely, yeah,
worldview
exactly.
from the way like an average civilian would
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
view it. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Also, like, okay, I'm gonna make do another hot take, but because I was in Inverness, right? Because there was a military, there was a RAF base nearby,
Yeah.
so because you would get like military guys like all the time, like in pubs and that.
Yeah,
like,
it makes sense.
they're so gross.
Yeah, I can
you know what I
imagine.
mean? Like,
Yeah, because it's,
No,
just,
it's like,
it's
yeah.
literally just a breeding ground for sexism, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. So like this is why it gets like an angry 5 of me. You know what I mean?
An unpleased fan.
Yeah, a bit displeased 5.
Sexiness.
Okay, this is what I feel bad about
Why?
because I feel like sometimes it was kind of good.
The actual sex.
That's what I mean. Like literally just the actual sex. Is
Like,
what I mean.
see if it was just like, here's these characters. They're
Yeah,
having
fuck it.
sex. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Deductions for the homoerotic no homoist.
Oh my god!
Like I can't handle it. It's
I
like
can't
it
handle
gets
it.
so intense at certain points.
It is so intense.
Where it's like, yeah, suck his dick, but don't let my dick touch his dick. Hello?
I don't know.
Hello?
Like the comment that Erica makes as well, like, oh, you know, did you slip? And like it's implied that like they actually
they
touched
fucked
dicks.
each other,
They
yeah.
accidentally touched dicks, and it's like, okay, but like you are literally like, but you can feel your homie's dick through this woman's like
Yeah.
vaginal walls. You know what I mean? Like.
You might as well be fucking each other.
You might as
let's
well be fucking
honest.
each other. Also, I was gonna say this book would have been greatly improved if they had been like a full
Yeah,
like
like a
Bisexual,
proper.
yeah.
No, I don't want to say proper because that sounds mean, but like a different kind of polyamorous relationship.
Oh yeah, like a
you know?
bisexy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bisexy.
Yeah.
So points deduction for that.
Yeah.
Also, for me, there was certain points where it was just like, and you brought this up. Why is Rowan doing things?
Yeah, exactly. It's all the time.
And
like,
I
you
don't
know?
mean that in the way where it's like, why is she giving head? Why is she doing like? Fair enough. That's involved in sex. Why does Rowan have to wank herself off all the time?
Exactly. It's like, I mean, you know, I explained this in the last,
Yeah.
you know, the last episode,
Yeah.
but it's like if there's 2 guys there, she shouldn't
Yeah.
have to be responsible for her own orgasm if those guys
Yeah.
are as good at sex as they claim to be. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so deductions for that.
That for me, I'm gonna give it a 5 because the sex is okay.
Yeah.
It's not my thing, but I can understand how if you just looked at the sex of this book, someone would be like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. But the deductions for me like are probably a bit more like plot based, so it
yeah.
feeds into it way too much.
But
you
I,
know?
but I know exactly what you mean because
Just like the context as well. It's just like this is so scummy that they're doing this, and
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about
Yeah,
their sex,
exactly.
you know.
no, honestly, I'm the same because like you know, because I do actually find like the premise kind of hot.
Oh yeah, the premise.
Oh yeah, you know,
Very
like, 'cause
nice.
it's like,
That's why we chose the book.
Exactly, because like I said, like, you know, it's not your thing, but you know, like in theory, I think it could be quite sexy in my opinion, but and then it's also like just like, you know, think like, okay, this is fine, and then these random fucking lines like, oh, I thought actually like Zach was gonna be the beta in the group and Graham was the alpha, just like shit like that, you know, just
Yeah.
like randomly gets thrown in there and just like, oh, okay, I can.
Okay.
Never mind. So I was gonna give it a 5 as well, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's me. I've gave it a 1 and then a 2 and then a 5. So that's a 8. And you gave it a...
I give it a 12 in total because I gave it a 4 in...
That's a solid 20 out of 60.
60.
1/3.
Third. Which is more than like other books that we've enjoyed more have gotten. So like...
Exactly.
But it's, you know, it's just like on those categories, so...
Favourite sex scene?
Okay, I think mine is actually the one where they first like proper fuck. No, I don't know. Actually, hard to tell. Or like,
I'm gonna be kind of boring and say all the sex scenes kind of feel like the same.
no, they very much do, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, first we wank each other, or someone gets a blowjob, and then one of us goes in one way, and then the other one goes in the other way, and then we do the thrusts, and then that's it. And I'm like, the sex is kind of boring. You
I mean,
know?
it kind of is. Like, but it did find, but it.
It's like, where's the flavour? Where's the flavour? Give me the spice. Where's the spice?
Well, it's just funny, like, in the very first time when they, like, made out, but then, like, she thinks she's just gonna get some D, but then, like, they just, like, finger her, and they're like, okay, good night.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that my favourite,
like,
actually.
"Bitch, what the fuck?
She's just like, she's so overcome by her orgasm that she just can't handle
She
penis.
just got that another one, and also she has, like, 2, like, right in a row, and
Yeah.
it's like...
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Because, like, there's no break as well, like, it's just,
Yeah.
like, immediately over, and just like...
I personally don't have a favourite sex scene. If I was to choose one, it would be that, because it was
Yeah.
the shortest.
Understandable.
Favorite
Yeah,
sex
I think mine will probably be the one like where they finally actually fuck, because I think that's the one where she comes without like having to wank herself off.
Yes.
So I think like that just gets the plus for me.
That gets the okay.
Yeah, that gets the okay.
Lol. I'm having a mawam. It's a stress mawam.
You deserve a stress, mom.
Yeah, we can't record for much longer because what's this month coming to pick me up?
And it's okay.
Right. Moral of the story.
I think you already have them prepared in
What? Oh, women are people. That's my moral of the story. Women are people with full bodily autonomy, and I mean that in every sense of the word, as in what they do with their bodies and where those bodies go. Yes. That's how I feel about it.
Oh my god, I think mine was gonna be... Yeah, I was gonna say very much in the similar vein, like, grown adults can make their own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, just like as a general thing, that's like...
That's a general good thought to have.
Yeah, and then also, like, just, like, wasn't honoured a lot in this book, so I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, most people can benefit from therapy if your coping mechanism when you're a little bit annoyed is to throw shit against the wall and, like, randomly physically attack the people you care about. Please seek some help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I think that's, like, my main moral of the story.
Please get therapy.
Please go to therapy, guys.
So that's it for this week. Come back next time if you're not too scarred. Find us on Twitter and TikTok at NotMyCupOfT pod, and on Instagram at NotMyCupOfTea And please listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Woohoo! Also, spicy thanks to our composer Cal Clark, cover artist Oliver Groves, and brave editor Andy Wells. Till next time!